Bop It doesn't bop very well. It pulls fine, it twists fine. Not good at bopping. It does bop. It just doesn't bop well. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna see if just cleaning it works. Why is Bop It built like a tank? Why does it need this many screws? There's more screws. 8 so far. I think they should use the security screws just to complete the Fort Knox vibe that they're going with. There's 10 screws total. I think I got them all. So I've just hooked up a power supply to the batteries.
Side note, this power setup was totally unnecessary. I just didn't feel like wasting batteries while fixing something.
And it is working. The connection looks like this because I think it's actually meant for like laptop chargers. But it comes with laptop connections and it comes with this. So I don't think it's made for me to fix Bop It with it, but maybe it'll work. And it is vaguely working because we can pull it. I don't think Twist It does anything in Bop It when it's off. And I don't know how to bop the Bop It in its current state. It looks like there's buttons on the inside here. We're bopping. Okay, so that button bops it. Actually, it's labeled Bop It on the board. Okay, so this button goes back and forth and somehow triggers those buttons that are on either side. Which I don't know how it's doing that. Okay, I had to reposition things so I could get to it, but I'm committed to giving it a good bop. So you can press the button in here, and it starts the game. I'm clearly very bad at it. And same for the button right opposite that one, so just on that side. So both of those bop it. And so we would need something to, when you push the button from this side, and it slides this way, to hit this button. And the same thing on the opposite side. So when it moves this way, it hits this button. So what is that? We don't have anything here that hits it. Maybe it actually hits it with this spring. That seems bonkers, if that's how that works. I'm gonna put its hat back on. Okay, its hat is on. I can't bop it, so I've made it worse. Why can't I bop it? How is that meant to work? Am I missing a piece? Did I move a piece? It doesn't sound like anything is in there. It just sounds like a Bop It shaking. I wish I could see in here while I did that. X-ray vision would be useful in the Bop It dissection. Well, for one thing, my power came undone. Doesn't go there, it goes here. It does just hit it with a spring. You just hit it with a spring? I can't fix that. How would I fix that? It's just, I mean, I'm not replacing the spring. I'm not gonna go acquire a spring. Like if I had to clean something, if I had to solder something, if I had to buy a set of buttons, I don't even know how you buy a spring. And I don't think, I'm not buying a spring. Alright, so I think the current plan is just to spray contact cleaner on both of the buttons, which I know it's a pretty weak, it's kind of a cop-out here. Just to make sure that they're moving well, and then press them a bunch of times and make sure they're just not stuck a little bit. Because I can't, maybe the spring is more bendy than it used to be. It seems pretty solid to me. I assume that spring probably hasn't changed much. So we'll leave that the buttons got stiffer. So I'm gonna put contact cleaner on those, press them a whole bunch of times, and call it good. And just like, you gotta hit the Bop It button. If you don't hit it hard enough, it's not gonna bop it. It doesn't say tap it, you're supposed to bop it. So that's the plan.
Editor's note, I never filmed that apparently, but I sprayed the buttons with contact cleaner and I pressed them a bunch of times. It wasn't very exciting, you didn't miss much, and now I gotta put it back together.
So Twist It comes in a lot of pieces when you open up the case, because they just kind of fell at me. So I'm gonna put them in. This big screw goes in here. This mechanism goes here. So this has a little hole in it. It's gonna receive a rotation from the Twist It. This actually has to be threaded inside the twisted. I can't do it one-handed. So we've got the yellow piece for twisted, then we've got a white piece that slides in. It's got a notch in it, so it can only go in one way, which is kind of helpful. Then this white piece has a little hole here. Obviously you're twisting, but this contact isn't quite center, it's off-center, so it creates a vertical motion. So this vertical motion is going to be used to push down on that button. So you see, if I press down that button, nothing happens, because apparently nothing happens when you twist it and the Bop It is off. And I'm stupid. Okay, so I can't really test it at the moment. I can if I press the Bop It button, but that's kind of hard to get to. I'm not going to test it, so just trust that that twists it. So we have to make sure that we move this vertical motion down onto that button. So I've cleverly provided us this piece. Now this piece was in the wrong place when I opened Bop It, so I have, just through the magic of logic and reasoning, decided where it goes. So I believe the spring goes inside this piece, like so. And this piece, this is going to be the part, this end, is going to sit on the button. It's going to sit just like that. All of this is kind of held in with pressure when the case closes, so I'm going to have to be very careful about that, and you're not really going to get to see it because all of my senses will be involved. What this is going to do, you're going to twist, you're going to convert it to vertical motion over here, and that's going to press down on the twisted button, which once again I cannot test until the game is on. So I'm going to attempt to close the case with all this in the right position, which is probably easier said than done, and then we'll give it a try. Okay, so I think we got it.
Pull it. Twist it. Pull it.
Okay, it's hard when your Bop It's like a third of the way held together. Also, twist it needs the tension against the case to work, so you do either have to hold it the whole time, which is hard to do because you can only twist it like mid-game, or you have to put the screws in at least part of the way. So I think it's working. I'm gonna finish reconstructing. Alright, got my Bop It working. I have a bit of an extra challenge because it is currently wall powered.
Bop it. Pull it. Twist it. Pull it. Pull it.
20. Anyway, it works. I gotta find batteries.